Thank you, Kanak. Kanak, I am not an investor. I'm an investment banking guy. But be that as it may, yes, I have about a few decades of experience in the financial services space, out of which probably 70% of my time went into asset management. 24 or 25 years back, I collaborated with the previous speaker, Dhiren, to technologize a bank and how to sell mutual funds. That was a bank which is not there anymore, Dhiren, called ABN AMRO Bank. But that was more global reasons than its obsolescence in India. We were launching the sales and service of mutual funds at that time. And everybody was skeptical in the room, including me, who was heading that particular piece, on whether mutual funds as a product will do two things. One, will it sell? And two, will it cannibalize on the core business of banking in the business that we are, which is a bank, to run a bank. And I think two things happened at that time. One was a success, one was a failure. We started selling mutual funds when the technology boom happened. And then, of course, within a year and a half, the technology crash happened. Most of you must have witnessed that. Most of you have been in this business for a long time. So there was a bit of an issue in terms of customer feedback, not a bit, a large issue in terms of customer feedback, that a lot of people lost money. So we had to handle that particular piece. Also, we had to train and teach people on what mutual fund, for them that was Greek at that time, for all the bank's staff and the bank's relationship managers. So two things which previous speakers have also pointed out is, which one must do is constant learning, engaging, and changing with times. Not too many years back, I quit the mutual fund industry. And at that time, some of these staggering numbers that you see were present. I still remember the day when I was one of the committee members of AMFI. We celebrated 200 crores of SIP inflow. And I still remember that it was around 2006 or 7. Today, I don't know exact numbers, but I think it's in excess of 20,000 crores. So you got 100x in 15, 16 years. And it's not a very difficult thing to understand as to why. India's GDP is about $4 trillion. India's saving rate is one of the highest in the industry, in the world, amongst all countries. Can anybody hazard a guess what the savings rate is? Okay, so it's about 30%, give or take a few basis points. You are talking about $1.2 trillion of money coming in as savings. If you remove corporate savings, which is 30%, you are talking about $840 billion of saving coming every year from Indian citizens. When Dhiren mentioned about his employees buying cars on credit, they also do one more thing which they never did few years back. They put an SIP along with the credit. They take a loan and put an SIP as well. So today there are 10 crore SIPs, live SIPs in the market. So you're talking about 10 crore people. Even if you deduplicate it, there will be at least 3 to 4 crore people who are SIP holders in this country. $840 billion, which is the size of the mutual fund industry, by the way, is getting saved every year. Which means that the savings is going somewhere. Till today, that savings keeps going, bulk of it keeps going. Of course, a lot has changed in the last 5-10 years, but it still goes to real estate. It still goes to gold. It still goes to deposits. People have understood that this is not the right pattern. So a lot of savings has started going to equity now. But I think that if we are talking about one mutual fund industry size being added every year in savings, I think we have a great potential in this country. So we are just getting started. So if we keep that scope and if we keep that size and scale in mind, I think a lot of you will get re-energized and motivated to continue to do what you're doing so well. Now coming to my personal couple of learnings in life. In 1994, when I was 21 years old, I was working in a company called Siemens as an engineer. And I went to meet Sunil Mittal and Rajan Mittal. They were just about applying for licenses for the mobile network in Delhi. And I was a 21-year-old guy sitting in front of these 30-something two brothers who were manufacturing at that point in time something called a Beetle phone, push-button phone and a normal Beetle phone. And they were from businessmen from Ludhiana. They had no clue how they would do the mobile network. We had no clue how we would do it. We had entered into a partnership. So my boss took me to meet them, and I had no clue what to talk because I basically knew something about networks, mobile networks, but I had no clue about how to do a commercial deal. In the midst of the meeting, my boss walked out of the meeting for something, maybe to go to the washroom. And Rajan Mittal asked me that all this is fine, but the 3,500 crores that we are talking about to be spent to build this network will come from where? And I was just looking at his face and he was looking at mine. I had no clue where this will come from. But then I said confidently, "Sir, we will arrange it." And I can tell you that I had absolutely no clue. I knew that I had axed my foot by saying this, and my boss is going to kick me out of the job next day. But I said, that was the confidence that I had. I said, "Sir, we will arrange it." And Sunil Mittal looked at me and said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Sir, we will arrange it. I've committed to you. Let my boss come. He will tell you the rest of the details." My boss came. Sunil Mittal told him that your guys just told me that you will arrange part of the 3.5. Of course, they had to put in some equity, part of the 3,500 crores. Are you sure you guys will be able to arrange this kind of money? And I'm talking about 94, 95, 3,500 crores was a lot of money. So my boss looked at me very sternly, gave me those dirty looks. I walked out of the room. We went back to our office in something called Mohan Cooperative. If some people are from Delhi, that's where we used to have the first Siemens office. And he blasted me when we reached office. He said, "How can you commit? Even if we are able to arrange, how can you commit?" And you won't believe it, we arranged it through something called Siemens International Finance because the banks were not ready to bankroll them. So we got them a LIBOR plus 200 basis point loan, which was the cheapest ever loan to build a mobile network in Delhi from Siemens International Finance in Germany. They were thrilled. We were thrilled because we got an order of $1 billion at that time for all the Airtel circles. The moral of the story is have the confidence. Like some of the panelists said, risk hai to ishq hai. Have the confidence to take the risk. Believe in yourself. Not that I didn't know about Siemens International Finance. Of course I had known about it. Not that I didn't know what banking means. If the government was rolling out networks and circles for telecom, obviously they had something at the back of their mind to finance them. So I knew that some basic things would be available, but I didn't know how we would do it. But I had the confidence to stand up to Sunil Mittal and Rajan Mittal and say that we will do it. And we did it. The idea is that you will get tricky situations in life. You will be posed with difficult questions by important people with very limited time. And you will have to take that call. And even if you get that call wrong, it's fine. But if you get the call right, you've made it. And that is what happened with the Sunil Bharti Mittal episode. I'll wind up because I'm getting these signals that I'm a little late. But I'll give you another very deep anecdote about what focus is in life. And this is something which is from my family. 4 years back, around COVID, my brother was heading India Today as an executive director. His two sons, were in 9th class and 10th class. He was in the top peak of his corporate career. He's a IIT IIM alumni, top man in the industry, running into crores of salary. And one day he called me and we met at the club, the Delhi Gymkhana Club. And he said, Akshay, I want to tell you something. And he's just 1 year elder to me, so we are more like friends than brothers. And I said, what? He said, I'm quitting my job. So I said, why? So I said, he said, I want to focus on these two sons. You know, it still gives me goosebumps when I talk about this story. He quit his job, peak of his career. I was a CEO for 3 organizations. I could have never taken that call in my life. He quit his job, running into crores of annual compensation. He sat down with his sons. One of them wanted to do engineering, the younger one. One of them wanted to become a pilot. They had no clue how they would do it. He got the elder one in the 11th class into some flying lessons. He got the younger one into some Vidya Alankar or something, it's called, some engineering institute, training institute. He went to meet the trainers of these institutes. He looked at the mock exam results of both the kids. He dropped them, picked them up in peak of COVID with 3 masks and various other types of gear. I'm sure you guys remember what a painful period that was. And 3 to 4 years, he completely focused on them. He took a small little retainer job just to keep the sort of house, expenses going. The outcome today is the younger son is an IIT. The elder son is a trainee Indigo pilot, the youngest ever trainee Indigo pilot. And my brother is the happiest man. Focus in life is not only about making money. Focus in life is about making the right choices. That's what I'll end up with. Thank you very much.